What is up, guys, and welcome to Mage. My name is Eric, and welcome to my personal PvP guide for Frost Mages for patch 5.4. This is gonna be my guide that you've been waiting so long for, and here it is finally. And I'm sorry I haven't been able to make it before now. Anyways, I really hope you guys will enjoy this video, because I've spent a lot of my time making it only for you guys. So I would really appreciate a thumbs up. That's all I can ask for. And subscribe for more videos, because there will be many more videos in the future, guys. I promise you. Anyway, I hope you guys will enjoy. Alright, we're gonna start with talents and builds as usual. And I also did this for my previous guide, which was for patch 5.3. But in order to prevent you guys from actually going back in time to my older videos and go and search for my patch 5.3, I'm just gonna do it and go through it all over again. So stay with me, guys, don't leave me, promise me that. I'm gonna go through each and every of these 6 tiers. I'm gonna start with the first one. In the first one we got Presence of Mind, Blazing Speed and Ice Flows. Presence of Mind. I've taken Presence of Mind, as you can see, and the reason why I've taken Presence of Mind is because it is such a goddamn useful spell. It gives you an instant cast spell on any of your spells that has a casting time in less than 10 seconds. This is great for bursting. Let me just go show you how effective this one talent is. If I'm about to open, I can just use Presence of Mind before I'm even about to open, and it will stay on me forever until I'm actually using it. It will also give me an instant polymorph, which is great for instant seizing a healer or instant seizing a DPS that is about. If, for example, a warlock is about to cast Chaos Bolt, you can just easily go and polymorph him if your counter spell is on cooldown. And that is why I've taken Presence of Mind, because it's such a goddamn useful spell in bursting or in seizing, etc. A Blazing Speed, I do not like Blazing Speed, because it gives you movement speed by 150% for 1.5 seconds, and 1.5 seconds it's over in an instant. I mean, why not just blink instead? I mean, that is how far distant you're actually able to move over those 1.5 seconds. So it is pretty much a waste of a talent instead compared to Presence of Mind. Ice Flows though, Ice Flows is great actually. Ice Flows is a very good talent if you're moving away from a warrior who is charging against you and just keeps hitting you for a lot of damage. You can just slow him with a Frostbolt, but you don't want to be standing still, because then he can just hit you and CC whatever. Then you can just go use Ice Flows, because then you're able to move away from him while slowing him with your Frostbolt, etc. But I'm still gonna have to take Presence of Mind, because I love Presence of Mind. The second tier we got Temporal Shield, Flame Glow and Ice Barrier. The reason why I've taken Ice Barrier is because, I mean, just look at it. It can almost absorb 100,000 damage. It is such a safe spell. It is very easy to use. I mean, just use it before the arena's even about to start, and it lasts for 1 entire minute, which is crazy. Flame Glow is a passive spell though, so it's actually pretty good for people that forget to use Ice Barrier actually. Then Flame Glow is great, but I do not like Flame Glow, because it is not that great as it used to be, and it will only absorb 4,308 damage from each attack, and that is not much. It isn't at all. And Temporal Shield, I do not like Temporal Shield because it is such a sketchy spell to go with. Ice Barrier is much more safe and useful than Temporal Shield will ever be. Temporal Shield will give you a shield for 4 seconds. All the damage you take while Temporal Shield is on for those 4 seconds will get healed up again over 6 seconds. So you're actually gonna wait 2 more seconds in order to get healed up for that amount of damage you just took. So it is very sketchy to go with Temporal Shield. You will probably die over those 6 seconds while you're getting healed up. Ice Barrier is much more safe. That's it. The third tier we got Ring of Frost, Ice Port and Frost Jaw. Frost Jaw is great if you're from a long distance and just trying to freeze and silence your target. But since you already got counterspells, since you already got your pet's freeze ability, just like this, you can freeze from a long distance. Then Frost Jaw is pretty useless as a Frost Mage. If you are a Fire Mage instead, you don't have your Water Elemental to help you. So this is a great way to freeze your opponent from a long distance. Then you should take Frost Jaw, but not as a Frost Mage. Ice Ward, it is a very sketchy spell. It will place a ward on you, and when an enemy strikes you with a melee attack, all enemies within 10 yards will become frozen in place for 5 seconds. This is not effective at all. This is useless, pretty damn useless, because what if you're up against a ranged target, then you're not able to activate Ice Ward. I mean, Ring of Frost is so much better than Ice Ward. It totally is. Ring of Frost can freeze up to 10 targets for a total of 10 seconds inside this huge area. I mean, look at it, guys. Ring of Frost is the best, no doubt about that. The 4th tier got Great Invisibility, Cauterize, and Cold Snap. Greater Invisibility is great for escaping. It makes your invisibility instant, so you don't have to wait 2 to 3 seconds in order to get inside your invisibility. And when you're inside, it will also remove all the threat, and then removing the damage over time, and remove 2 damage over time effects, also known as dots. And the damage taken while invisible is reduced by 90% also. It is really great to escape from your targets, but if you don't escape that much, it is pretty damn useless. Cauterize is best for PvE, and why I'm pretty sure, because for PvP it is very sketchy, because you will otherwise an attack that will otherwise kill you will get you healed up to 50% again, and you will burn for 40% of your maximum health. This is pretty goddamn useless, because what it does, that you will die, you will get healed up again to 50%, and you will burn for 40% of your health, and you got 10% left. If you're on your own, it sucks, and the enemy can easily one-shot you with a single spell, just because Cauterize sucks so much, and this can only occur every second minute, so it's pretty much a waste of a talent. Cold Snap is with no doubt the best of all these 3. Cold Snap, it refreshes the cooldown of Ice Block, Frost Nova, and Cone of Cold. It also heals you for 30% of your maximum health. Just like this, I am able to use Frost Nova twice with Cold Snap, just like this. I can use Cold Snap, and I can use Frost Nova again. That is actually a double freeze, just like that, and it is amazing. The 5th tier got Nether Tempest, Living Bomb, and Frost Bomb. Nether Tempest sucks. That's it. Living Bomb is great, but it's a much more sketchy spell to go with than Frost Bomb. If you're using Frost Bomb just like this, and your Frost Bomb is about to explode, it is 100% guaranteed to explode, and it is 100% guaranteed to give you your Frost Fireball to proc. I mean, Living Bomb, it is much more sketchier, but although it is an instant cast, and it is a dot, and it is much more effective, but it's not 100% guaranteed to proc your Frost Fireball, which you will need at any time in order to do the proper burst. Invocation. Okay, let's go to the 5th one. Invocation, Rune of Power, and Incanter Sword. Incanter Sword is the one I've taken, as you can see, and it absorbs up to 30,000 damage, and plus my 100,000 from my Ice Barrier, I'm now having 130,000 from. I can now absorb up to 130,000. It is just so amazing, and the damage I take, it depends. If the enemy is able to burst down the entire shield, I will get 15% increased spell damage for 25 seconds, and it is just amazing. And it also has a passive effect. All my spell damage is increased by 6%, and increase my mana regeneration by 65%, which is also good. It really is. And Rune of Power, it is not good, because you have to stay inside a rune in order to get the benefit from it, and you move around in PvP a lot more than you do in PvE, so Rune of Power sucks. Invocation sucks, because you have to wait for your evocation to finish, and then you will get the 15% spell damage bonus. It really sucks, because you have to wait over 5 seconds in order to get that benefit from evocation. So Incanter Sword is the best. So we're gonna go through it all again. Presence of Mind, Ice Barrier, Ring of Frost, Cold Snap, Frost Bomb, and Incanter Sword. Presence of Mind is a great way for an instant spell. Ice Barrier is a great way and absorbs up to over 100,000 damage. Ring of Frost can freeze up to 10 targets for 10 seconds. Cold Snap is great and heals you for up to 30% of your maximum health. Frost Bomb is also great and will guarantee your Frost Fireball to have a 100% guaranteed proc. And Incanter Sword is such a great spell, plus your Ice Barrier, then you're able to absorb up to 140,000 damage, plus you will have very effective and move around a lot as well. This is my build. This is purely my opinion on how you should play as a Frost Mage, and this is actually one of the best builds that are out there on the market. Some do have Living Bomb, some do have Frost Bomb. I have Frost Bomb because I think it's the best. If you guys have different builds, you're more than welcome to tell me in the comments below. Alright guys, let's jump right over to stats requirements for Frost Mages for patch 5.4 PvP. Well, first of all, I just want to apologize for myself because last guide I made, which was for patch 5.3, I made a huge mistake. I came to tell you guys that you should focus on crit instead of mastery, and that was a huge mistake. And as a Frost Mage, you want to focus as much on mastery as possible. And I'm gonna explain why. We mages received a new mastery to ourselves for Frost Mages for patch 5.4, which is Ice Cycles. What Ice Cycle is, whenever you're casting Frost Firebolt or Frostbolt, you will stack up an Ice Cycle. You can max have up to 5 Ice Cycles at once, and these Ice Cycles will start to hover above your character. Whenever you're casting Ice Lands, all of these Ice Cycles will start shooting against the enemy, and they do around 28,000 each, and against players it is probably around 13,000, maybe 10,000 or so. Anyway, then the first priority is, as usual is to get hit capped. For fuck's sake, that is the most important thing when you're being a Frost Mage. Because imagine if you miss on your Frost Bomb, which can probably do a lot of damage. Let's just take a look against the frozen target. Let's take a look. Bam, 220k, and against the player it is probably around 100,000. And imagine if you miss that huge amount of damage because you're not hit capped enough. I mean, it's just a stupid thing to do. So you gotta get hit capped, which is at 6%. The second priority you're gonna focus on is Intellect. The more Intellect you have, the more spell power you have. The more spell power you have, the more damage you're able to do. And the third priority, of course, is Mastery. The more Mastery, the better. The more damage your small little Ice Cycles are able to do. And that is really, really, really necessary if you want to do proper burst with your Ice Cycles. I mean, just look at it. Each of them do 28,000 damage, and that is pretty damn much. I mean, you got 5 Ice Cycles, and all of these do around, maybe, let's say, 10,000 against players. That is 50,000 against players. That is actually pretty damn much. And if you got your trinkets procced and all that kind of stuff, you'll probably be able to do even more. So third priority, focus on Mastery. Fourth priority, focus on Haste, and fifth priority, focus on Critical Strike. Let's jump over to gems for Frost Mages. The major gems are the 324 critical strike chance and also a chance in spell damage to gain 30% spell haste for 10 seconds. This specific legendary meta gem is what you can achieve for completing the reforged questline for patch 5.2, and this is very necessary in your burst. Those 30% spell haste is incredible, and if you have not completed reforged questline for patch 5.2, then you can just go with the normal major gem, which is the 216 crit, and also the 3% increased spell crit effect. The red gems is 160 intellect, and the more intellect you get, the more spell power you have, and the more spell power you have, the more damage you will be able to do. The yellow gems are 320 mastery, the blue gems are 80 intellect and the 80 PvP power, and that's it. Let's just go through it all again. Major gems, the legendary major gem from patch 5.2. If you have not completed that, just go with the normal one, which is 216 crit and the 3% increased spell crit effect. The red gems 160 intellect, the yellow gems 320 mastery, and the blue gems 80 intellect and 80 PvP power. Let's take a look at enchantments for Frost Mages for patch 5.4. There are no enchantments on the head, but on shoulders you need to have 200 intellect and 100 critical strike. On the cloak you gotta have light weave embroidery if you appear to be a tailor. If you're not a tailor, then just go with the 160 intellect. On the chest you need to have 80 on all stats. On the wrists 180 intellect with no doubt. On the weapon Jade Spirit. On the offhand 165 intellect. And one thing is sure, main hand and offhand is actually much better than just having one staff. You will get more intellect, which will also equals more spell power, which also gives you more damage than if you're having a staff. You will not have that much spell power than if you got one main hand and one offhand. If you appear to be an enchanter just like me, you will be able to get 160 intellect on both of your rings. This equals 320 intellect from both of your rings, which also is a huge amount. On your boost, you need to have 140 mastery and the minor speed increase. The minor speed increase will give you 8% movement speed, which is also pretty good from escaping from your target, or if you are trying to get to your target much quicker. On the legs, you gotta have 285 intellect and 165 critical strike. On the belt, you gotta have the belt buckle, which will give you an extra gem. On this gem, just place a red gem, which is the 160 intellect gem. And last but not least, the hands, you wanna be focusing on the 170 mastery. Let's just go over again. On the shoulders, 200 intellect and 100 critical strike. The cloak, either light weave embroidery if you're a tailor, or just 160 intellect. On your chest, 80 in all stat, wrist 180 intellect, sorry. On the main weapon, Jade Spirit, and on the offhand, 165 intellect. On the rings, if you are a tailor, 160 intellect on each, and on the boost, 140 mastery and minor speed increase. On the legs, 285 intellect and 165 critical strike. On the belt buckle, place 160 intellect in the belt buckle, which is the prismatic socket, and also 170 mastery on the gloves. Let's jump over to glyphs for Frost Mages. This is purely my opinion, and you probably have some different glyphs that you think are more useful than mine. Then please tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Sorry, you're more than welcome to. We're first gonna start with the major glyphs. Here we got Glyph of Icy Veins, Glyph of Defreeze, and Glyph of Ice Block. And we got Glyph of Icy Veins. The Icy Veins is a glyph that is really useful for your burst. What it does, that it will split your Frost Firebolt, Ice Lance, and your Frost Ball and your Water Elementals water balls to split into 3 smaller balls that will each do 40% spell damage. And if you plus 40 plus 40 plus 40, it equals 120% spell damage. So it actually gives you a 20% spell damage boost, and it's actually pretty damn good for bursting. And that is why I've taken the Glyph of Icy Veins. Let me just go and show you how it actually works out. This is how Glyph of Icy Veins works out. It will split my Frost Bolts into 3 smaller bolts, as you can see. And so also with my Ice Lance, 3 smaller balls every second. It is really useful, and I like this really much. The second of my major glyphs are Glyph of Deep Freeze. The Glyph of Deep Freeze is that my Deep Freeze will no longer be on global cooldown. And if you don't know what global cooldown is, I can show you what global cooldown is. Let me just go and take it off. Alright, let me just go and remove it. I will show you what Deep Freeze is now without the global cooldown. Do you see how long that took before it was actually even stunned? It might even take a half second before it actually even gets stunned from where you press the button and where you currently are. Let's just go and wait until it gets refreshed with the cooldown again, and I'm able to show that the Glyph of Defreeze are able to proc much faster if you got the glyph on. If you have this glyph, its duration is also reduced by 1 second too, so please keep that in mind. But it's really effective if you want to CC your target right away, and if you want to burst your target at the proper time, just like that. Just see how fast it goes. I really like Glyph of Defreeze. It is really useful, and maybe you couldn't even recognize the difference, but I could. I clearly could, and it is hard to explain, and it's hard to even show and demonstrate against training dummies, but when you're in BGs and you want to CC your target right away, this is much more effective. The third of my glyphs are Glyph of Ice Block. What this does, when my Ice Block ends, it triggers an instant free Frost Nova from where I am, and it will also make me immune to all spells for 3 seconds. This is amazing for escaping. This is amazing. It surely is. From escaping from your targets in BGs. If a lot of guys are actually focusing on you, you could just go try Ice Block and get away much easier. So these were the major glyphs. The minor glyphs are not so important. There is this Glyph of Momentum that I think is quite important actually. This does, if you move backwards, you will blink backwards. If you move to this side, you will blink to the side. If you move to the right, you will blink to the right, etc, etc. And let me just go show how it works. There you go. If you didn't have this glyph, you actually have to turn all the way 180 degrees in order to blink this way. You can just walk backwards and you will blink backwards, easy as that. The second of my minor glyphs is the glyph of Unbound Elemental. As you can see, my water elemental has changed into this badass water elemental, and I also made a video about this some months ago on the patch 5.4 PTR. Now we may just have this awesome water elemental instead, and you could also use the glyph of condensation that will increase the size of your water elemental by 40%. So it's a big badass water elemental following you wherever you go. So I have glyph of Ice Veins, it is great for bursting. Glyph of Defreeze, which is great to CC the target right away and burst right away, and glyph of Ice Bug to escape from your targets much easier. Alright guys, to the second last part of the video, I want to show you my macros. And as you can see, I do not have so many though, but I do have some, and all of them are necessary apart from this. This is actually just the macro of refreshment table. All it does is that it will yell out in chat whenever my mage table is up, so my party members are aware of that. But it is a very unnecessary glyph, especially in PvP. I do have the macro of Ice Block, what the macro of Ice Block does is that I'm able to get inside Ice Block and I'm able to cancel it whenever I want. I do not necessarily have to wait 1 second before I'm able to get out of it. I can do it in a blink of an eye, in a half second if I have to, and it works just like a trinket. Imagine if I'm stunned for 6 seconds, I'm able to use it right away, just like this, and get out of it immediately. It is an amazing macro, and I'll put this description in. I'll put the way you do this macro in the description below, so you can just copy and paste it to your own macro section. Okay, the one-shot macro of mine is where I'm using Ice Vein, and you know I have using the glyph of Ice Veins. I'm also using Cafe Press. Cafe Press is this nice little cup of coffee here that will increase your haste by 4,000 for 25 seconds, and this is something you get in Kunai Summit from a very rare hidden treasure that I'm not going to be going over right now where you're supposed to get it. You can just go and search it on Wowhead where you're supposed to get this nice piece of coffee. And also use 13, and what this means, it will use my item slot, which is 13, item slot 13, which is my trinket here that will increase my intellect by 2,881 for 20 seconds. It's also, I'm just going to show you how it works out. As you can see, I am able to do massive amount of damage, and this is basically how my one-shot macro is. And I also put the way you do this macro in the description below, so you can just easily go and copy and paste it to your own macro section. And I will do this for all my macros. Polymorph, the glyph of polymorph, is actually a mouse over polymorph. And what this does, imagine if I am focusing this training dummy here, which is a DPS, and the healer is this training dummy. Then I can just easily attack this while I'm holding the mouse over that, which appears to be the healer. And that is a really fucking effective macro, especially in arenas, when you're supposed to CC the right target. Silence, what this does, it is the macro of a counterspell. What this does, whenever I'm casting a spell, it will stop the cast and silence right away, so I don't necessarily have to move and cancel a spell in order to use counterspell first. So don't worry guys. So I do have 4 very necessary macros. Each and every one of them are useful. I'll put them all in the description below, so you're able to copy and paste them right into your own macro section. The very last part of the video, guys, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, by the way. I'm going to show you how your rotation is going to be when you are a Frost Mage, especially when you are supposed to open on your specific target. And it is a very easy way. You gotta at least have your Dalaran or Arcane Brilliance active, you gotta have your Mage Armor active, you gotta have your Water Elemental out, and remember, he has to be on passive. If he is on assist, he will follow another target, and he will become out of range in order for your pet freeze ability, which is very useful, and you really need that a lot. Anyway, imagine if we are in an arena, and this is usually how I'm gonna do it. Before the arena is even about to start, I'm gonna use Presence of Mind, because it will stay on me until I'm using it, so it will not disappear like all of my other spells who actually has an duration. Anyway, I'm gonna activate invisibility, just like this. I'm gonna sneak up to the target, and the target doesn't know I'm coming. And there, I'm gonna use my Pet Nova's freeze ability, just like this. I'm gonna use Ring of Frost, then my macro, and right before the Ring of Frost is about to proc explode, I'm gonna use Deep Freeze. Then I'm gonna use all of these other spells all the time, use them all again, and actually in the same rotation. And as you can see, this was pretty hard to even explain because it just went so freaking fast. So I'm gonna do it all over again in a much slower rotation, so don't worry. Alright guys, sorry for that. I am pretty sure you didn't even understood half of what I just said, and me neither, to be honest, because I really spoke really fast, and it is fair enough if you didn't get what I was telling you and how you were supposed to burst and all that kind of stuff. I just showed you how much damage you're able to do when you're supposed to do real burst instead of just slow motion. But I'm gonna do a slow motion burst now and make you guys able what to do and etc., so you guys may understand it much easier. Well, first of all, you gotta make sure you have your Arcane Brilliance on and your Mage Armor. I'm using Mage Armor, by the way, if you didn't know already. And your Water Elemental by your side, and remember, it has to be on passive. It is up to you, actually, if you want to go to assist, but then it will probably get out of range in order for you to use your freeze whenever you want to. Anyway, also make sure you got your Presence of Mind active, and it will make you one of your spells instant also. Go use invisibility so you are invisible, no shit Sherlock, and then if we mark this one with a skull, we pretend this is our target, and let's just pretend it's a rogue, because I do fucking hate rogues. No offense, rogues out there, but I just hate you for your class, not personal. Anyway, you're gonna sneak up to it, and you're gonna open it up with your pet freeze ability. Then you're gonna use Frost Bomb. Then you're gonna wait right before Frost Bomb is about to explode. Then you're gonna use Steam Freeze. Then you one-shot macro, pop Frozen Up, pop Mirror Images, and then down here you got all the time. Then you're gonna use all the time. Then you're gonna use Frostfire Bolt and 2 Ice Lances. Use them all, and then use all the time again to get back where you were. Use Frostfire Bolt, use Ice Lances, and start all over again. Then start out with Frost Bomb and just keep freezing your target at much as all time, and just keep doing this. It is really easy, and and if you're against melee attacks, then you should probably start out with also Ring of Frost around them, or actually where you stand, because if a warrior is charging at you, he is automatically freeze, and you can easily just walk away and focus on the other target if that's what you want to. And it is very easy to burst as a Frost Mage, and Frost Mages burst are actually based purely on their burst. If they fail at their burst, they will pretty much suck throughout the entire battle. That's it. So you gotta really focus a lot on how you do it, and I'm gonna go through it again without showing you. I'm just gonna tell you how you do it, and I'm also gonna put I'm also gonna tell you in the description so you can go and read it whenever you want to. When I open on my target, I go invisible. Make sure you have Arcane and Mage Armor. Make sure you have Arcane Brilliance and Mage Armor active, and also your Water Elemental and Presence of Mind. You sneak up to your target, you freeze your target, you use Frost Bomb. Then you wait right before Frost Bomb is about to explode. Then you go with Deep Freeze, and before you use Deep Freeze, go with Frozen Orb. When you've done so, you pop your one-shot macro. You then use your mirror images, because they are really useful, because if your enemy is focusing you, they will lose you as a target, and they have to find you again and start doing damage to you, and this is really effective. And also you may use Incanter's Ward right before you open, because it is effective. If your opponents are bursting you, you will get a 15% increased spell damage buff for your character, and it is really simple. Let me just go and show it one more time. Deep Freeze. Then you're gonna go with Frost Bomb, and then you're gonna Deep Freeze, Frozen Up, one-shot macro all the time, and make sure you have 2 items procced, all the time, frostfire up 2 ice lances, and then you're gonna go just throwing it all and gonna do the same routine. I mean, similar as that. And when you got frostbomb up again, just go use it right away. And here's the symbol rotation actually, because you really want to be going with frostbomb as much as possible. You really gotta get that active all the time, and it is really simple. And you want to stack up 5 of your ice cycles before you go with the ice lance. Then you can go here and you are able to do very much damage actually, and it is simple as that. So one thing is very certain: keep your frozen orb active all the time right before it explodes, then go and freeze your target, because then your frost bomb will be able to crit for a huge and significant amount of damage. It really is a fucking amazing spell. Just look at how much it is able to crit if it is frozen. Boom! 220k. It is that easy. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you got any more questions about being a Frost Mage that I didn't cover in this video, and sorry if I didn't, because I'm a bit time rushed today. I need to go to bed early, so I gotta go very soon though. And I just wanna thank you guys for watching. Take care guys, I'll see you guys next one. Take care guys, bye bye.